Hello all, welcome to my channel Microlearning. Today I wanna make a detailed session on I2C protocol. This complete tutorial is divided into 6 sessions and these links are given in the description below. Please go through all these sessions and at the end of these sessions you will get to know how I2C protocol will work. Today in this session we are going to learn about I2C protocol. What is I2C protocol? How devices are connected in the network, how devices will start communicating each other in the network, etc. will be learned. What is I2C? It's an inter-integrated circuit and it was developed by Philips. This protocol was developed by Philips. It's a bus technology and it is a bidirectional two-wire bus. So why it is a two-wire bus? Here all the devices are connected to the two wires. Only two wires. Using these two wires, all the devices will start communicating each other. So this configuration will be shown in upcoming slides. It's a very powerful protocol used for communication between two devices, master and the slave. So using this protocol, the data can be transferred efficiently between two devices. Okay, first let us see what is a protocol. A protocol is a set of rules that allow two or more devices of a communication system to transmit information. See, when you define any protocol, we need to follow certain rules in order to transmit data over the network for successful transmission. Okay, this I will explain you with an example. Consider this is a network consisting of master 1 and 2 slaves. So here master can communicate with slave 1 or slave 2. But first it has to decide whether the master want to communicate with slave 1 or slave 2. So now the master was decided that it want to communicate with slave 1. Fine. After that it want to decide whether it want to write some data to the slave 1 or read data from slave 1. They decided that it want to write some data to the slave 1. So now the master was transmitting some data to the slave 1. The data is received successfully and it sends an acknowledgement to the master. Fine, data was transmitted successfully and received and acknowledgement was sent. This is a very success story. Now let us see one more case. So here master is transmitted data to the slave 1. The slave was received successfully, but it does not send any acknowledgement to the master. So at this point what the master will do? See, it will wait for some time. If the acknowledgement was not received within the time, it will resend the data. This is one. And one more point is, in some of the protocols, the the acknowledgement is not mandatory. If the acknowledgement was received within the time, it's fine. Else, it will start transmitting the other data. It won't bother about the acknowledgement bit. Acknowledgement. So this is one type, and this is not the failure case. There is no acknowledgement is sent. Okay, let us see the one more case. So master was transmitted data to the slave, but the data was not received by the slave. Here, this is one type of failure. So now this one in the network we have to identify this, and we need to retransmit the data again from the master. Or if the slave does not receive the data, it can request the master to retransmit the data. So this is what happens in the network. So there are lots of errors will occur, lots of stuff is there while transmitting and receiving the data over the network. So in order to overcome all these things, we need to follow certain rules, syntax and semantics, so that we can transfer the data successfully over the network. So this is why we have to follow certain rules. So okay, let us go ahead and check what is the error recovery methods. See, I have explained some errors here. So in this one error is that if there is no data received by the slave, then what will happen? So we need to implement some error recovery methods, so that this type of errors can be identified and we can recover it. So here the data was not received by the slave, then we should identify this and we need to ask the master to retransmit the data. Sometimes the data was sent, it was corrupted, then we need to identify that the data was corrupted and we have to retransfer the data again. So there is lots of things are there, so we need to follow certain rules. Okay, and one more point is the protocols may be implemented by the hardware, software, or combination of both. See, embedded system is nothing but it is a combination of hardware and the software. So wherever it is necessary of software, we need to go for software. Where it is required hardware, it is hardware. Sometimes we need the combination of both. We need hardware and the software to communicate over the network. I hope you have understand this.